Hey guys, what's up? So in my previous video on Maraudon gold farming, we had some inconsistencies that I'd like to fix in this one. So first off, before I start the video, I want to preface this by saying that Druids can solo Princess and the Goblin, but I have yet to be able to solo Rot Grip in the gear that I have. And I've tried several different strategies. I tried it in Feral and also Moonglow spec, and both specs I couldn't kill him. So this is excluding Rot Grip, and this farming method is pretty easy to do. I know a lot of people always will ask, what kind of gear do I need? And you can do this in very basic gear. I have some blues from dungeons, and you really could do this in even some greens from leveling. It's not a huge deal. It's just going to take a little bit of extra time. So first thing that I want to comment on is the aggro radius on classic servers is really, really good. It's very hard to pull mobs, and this allows you to gather minerals and nodes that are almost on top of these mob packs, which is really helpful for your gold per hour. Second thing is make sure that you finish the scepter portion of the Maraudon quest so that you can, get into the pools area of Maraudon much faster than having to actually run into the the orange or the purple side of Maraudon. So obviously make sure you do that. It's a good idea to just do that while leveling up with a group, as it's kind of hard to solo. Second inconsistency that we have is that Princess is actually immune to nature damage. So this means you can't use Wrath, you can't use Insect Swarm, or any nature damage that, she'll be immune to it, is what I'm trying to say. So it's going to take you longer than the other methods that we've had with Moonfire and Insect Swarm. Now, Princess also has more of a smart AI in Classic. When I say that, I mean that she doesn't just randomly perform her fart cloud. She only does this when there's someone in melee range of her and hitting her. So this means a pet, a player, or you yourself must enter melee range and smack her. Now, I was doing this in a circular kite around the room early on, and it was pretty challenging, and I basically just said, F this, I'm going to just worry about Tinkerer, and then, gather herbs, and then I'll reset. But the problem is I was getting locked out quite quickly, so I really wanted to try and figure out a way to do Princess a little bit more successfully. Plus, I wanted a chance to get the Epic Dagger. So I looked around and talked to some people, and the rocks within her room are very, very good spots to kind of path her around and get extra time away from her. So this means that you can regen a little mana if your gear's worse. You have some time to get away, and you have time for your Moonfire damage to kind of tick on her. So with all these things being said, this will allow us to do the Princess and the Goblin run a lot smoother than I was kind of talking about in the past, and I'd like to just go over that now. So I'm already on Goblin here now, and there's not really much to say. One thing that I do is I get into this crevice right here, and then I will avoid the pathing rock patrol, and I won't get attacked by them. And then also I can stay at range of Tinkerer, and he does a lot less damage at range. He has 3 abilities that he cycles through. One of them is a bomb. You can move out of the way of this, but I just soak the damage and continue to cast. He then does like a flame fire breath, and that is going to be more of a melee range ability. So when he's doing it and you're at range, it's just basically 0 damage. So obviously that is the one that you hope that he does the most. And then obviously he does just a rifle shot at range. And if he's doing a lot of rifle shot damage, then the problem is it's going to be doing a lot more damage to you, and you're going to need to be using a lot more mana, obviously, on healing. So this fight is pretty mana intensive, so I try to pop Innervate fairly quickly, so then I'll have it up for Princess when I get to her. And then it's just basically a DPS fight. You can do this fight in Feral. However, if you're Feral, you need to clear that pack of worms that are behind Tinkerer, like in the other room, because you need to pull Tinkerer into there, as he does a fear on beasts. So as a cat or a bear in feral form, you are considered a beast, and he will fear you, and it's lasts up to 9 seconds, and he can fear you into other packs of mobs. So that is why you need to pull him into that other room. The fight lasts about the same if you do it in, you know, a feral spec or a balance spec. Obviously, feral is less mana intensive, and you know, it's a little bit safer. However, the fear is kind of the issue, and it makes you have to clear that extra pack, which is annoying. Now we're going to run over to Princess, and Princess is obviously not doable as feral. You have to have intellect gear on, and I strongly suggest having spell damage gear on. You do have to do some healing, but it's not a huge deal, and mainly you just want to empower your Moonfire as much as possible. So the best spec for this is obviously Moonglow, as it allows you to improve your Moonfire, but also pick up some good talents in the healing tree. And also this is great just because a lot of you will probably be playing Moonglow anyways for raiding, so this means that to go and farm you don't really have to respec at all. The only thing that you need to take into consideration when going into Princess is just how much time you need to LOS her. So if you don't have as much mana and you run faster, you're just going to have to LOS her around this rock. You can kind of play peekaboo, I guess, and just kind of you know, strafe one way or the other, and it kind of confuses her AI whether to go left or right around the rocks. So what this allows you to do is get more time away from her and allow you to regen mana. Then when you're not around the rocks, you basically just kite her in a massive circle. And as she gets close, you need to obviously go into bear form, and you need to soak that damage, melee her, and get her to pop her fart cloud. Now this is very important that you don't wait too long. She has a Wind Fury type cleave where she basically hits you with all 4 arms, and it's huge spike damage, and if you're not in bear form at that time, you're going to take a huge amount of damage. And as you can see here, she does hit me for quite a long time. A lot of times she'll pop fart cloud almost immediately, and then other times it's just, you know, RNG. She'll be meleeing you for quite some time. Now I do have deadly boss mods, which allows me to have some more information on when she's doing like boulder and her fart cloud and also her fear. You hardly ever will get feared if you're careful. It does happen from time to time, but the good thing is if you're in bear form and she fears you, she's probably going to be fart clouding right around that time anyways, so it's kind of negated by the fact that she's immobile and she's just doing her AoE. The next thing I do want to cover is you can play peekaboo around the smaller rock, and if you play peekaboo around the smaller rock with her, then what can happen is you can more or less stay there the entire time, and this cuts down on you having to go into bear form and also healing yourself. So that means you have more mana to just Moonfire, and you can basically play the entire fight around that rock. The problem is I've done Princess a lot of times, and the only time she's ever bugged out for me and gone back to full health is around this rock. I don't know why it happens. It just seems to happen when she clips onto the rock by accident, or she can't find a path available to run to you. And this can be really, really annoying. As a druid, the fight lasts a long time, and if you get her down, you know, sub 50% and then she bugs out, it can just be really, really, really super frustrating. So I normally just, you know, kite her in the large circle. I feel like this is a little less tiring on myself if I'm just going to sit there and farm it. It does take about 1 minute to 2 minutes longer, as you need to heal yourself a little bit more, and you're going to have to do a little bit of regenning. But in general, this is just a much better approach. I'll show a clip of her bugging out when I'm doing the rock strategy, just so you guys can see it. But pretty much, yeah, it's just, to me, it's one of those things that if you feel that it's worth it and you want to go that approach, definitely feel free. Also, it's a lot easier as anyone but a Tauren as Tauren has a larger hitbox and Princess hitbox is pretty big as well. So with those two factors combined, if you stay really close to the rock, it's easier to kind of play hide and seek with her and get her to go left and right, left and right, left and right. However, she's going to be able to actually hit you if you're right on top of the rock. So you do have to be careful as a Tauren, and this won't be a problem with any other race. So yeah, I mean, pretty much that's all it is. It's just a fight of attrition. It's a long fight, but once you get the mechanics down, it's pretty easy. I've never actually wiped on Princess. I actually have never wiped on her. I think I have 3 or 4 confirmed wipes in Deadly Boss mods, but it's actually just from her bugging out. So the great thing is she's not challenging. Like Goblin is actually more sketchy at times if you go whereas with Princess you can always just kite her around the rock and regenerate mana. Even if you are at 0 mana, you can sit there and play peekaboo with her for 10 minutes if you wanted to. So I think that's about it, guys. With all that being said, I hope this was helpful. I know it's a little bit different than people have experiences with her in the past on private servers, but the fight is doable and it is still great gold per hour. I'll show you guys the gold per hour on the screen at the very end of this video, and I also show you, like I said, that bug out clip here in a second. So obviously that's how she bugged out, just around the rock. I really have no idea why. Here is me selling all my stuff. I hadn't repaired from my previous run, so it was about like a 1 gold repair, but oh well, it's not that big of a deal. With selling everything, I get to 291 gold, and I started out at 269, and then with the herbs that I was able to pick, that's another estimated 9 gold on the auction house. As you can see, it shows the value right there. So that means in 40 minutes with 3 runs, each run approximately taking 13 to 14 minutes, we were able to get 22 gold in raw gold and then around 8 to 9 gold in herbs. So that takes us right around 30 to 32 gold in 40 minutes, which is really respectable for a druid. Obviously you can do the farm a little faster on a warlock, and you can do the farm a little faster on a shadow priest and hunter, but for a druid that's great. Also, you have a chance at getting that dagger, which is really strong in 1v1s and world PvP if you're playing like a balanced hybrid spec. So yeah, good luck with the farm, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope I cleared some stuff up with how to do this farm, and I will be making that old video on Maraudon. I'll take that off my channel so it doesn't cause any confusion. All right, guys, enjoy the farm, and I'll see you in the next one.